There are some special cases of y equals mx plus b that we're going to be talking about today. Two of those special cases are called horizontal and vertical lines. Now we're going to use this acronym HOI-VUX to help us remember the different features of both horizontal and vertical lines. HOI is written side to side because these horizontal lines go side to side, and VUX is written up and down because VUX lines or vertical lines go up and down. Now let's talk about what these acronyms stand for. HOI stands for the fact that horizontal lines have zero slope. They also cross the y-axis. Now if you notice, this spells out HOI, H, 0, or O, Y. Horizontal lines have zero slope and cross the y-axis. Their equations are always y equals just a number. So HOI equations are horizontal, they have zero slope, cross the y-axis, and have equations y equals some number. For example, if you look right here, the line that's graphed is a flat line at the y value of 1. So this is a HOI line at 1, where y equals 1. That's the equation that generates that line. Now VUX stands for something different. VUX stands for vertical lines have undefined slopes and cross the x-axis. VUX, vertical lines have undefined slopes and cross the x-axis. Their equations are all x equals some number. So this is a really weird and special, I'm doing air quotes but you can't see me, special case of y equals mx plus b because there's no y at all. We just have x equals some number. In the picture over here in the graph, we have a vertical line that crosses the x-axis at 1.5. So the equation is x equal 1.5. That generates that graph. So HOI and VUX contains all the information we need because it helps us remember the type of equation we're writing for each type of function, whether that be a HOI or a VUX line. Now what we're going to ask you to do today is not only graph these functions, but also write the equations. But we're going to start off with just graphing the functions and identifying the slope. In number 1, the equation that it gives me is y equals -4. Since it starts with a y and has no x, it's just y equals a number. We know this is a HOI line. That means it will cross the y-axis at the value -4 from the equation. Since this is a HOI line, it also has a zero slope. So let's graph it. On the y-axis, which is the up and down axis, I'm going to look for -4, which is like right here. That's -4. To graph this line, all I have to do is get a really super straight, flat line through the points. Ooh, look at that straight line. That's pretty good. And there, I'm done. I've graphed the equation of y equals -4. Super simple. Let's check out number 2. If this equation is x equals 2, that means this is a VUX line because it starts with an x, like that's in the word VUX. That means it will cross the x-axis at the value 2, and since it's a VUX line, it has an undefined slope. Up and down is undefined, so we look for where the x-axis has a value of 2, and we're going to graph a up and down straight line. There's my VUX line, x equals 2. Super simple, right? Okay, just to give it a shot, you guys have number 3 and 4, two different equations for you guys to try. We have x equals -3 and y equals 4. How'd you do? If we look at number 3, it starts with an x equals just a number, so we know that is a VUX line, which means it crosses the x-axis at -3 and has an undefined slope. So we graph an up and down line with an undefined slope at -3. The second one, y equals 4, is a HOI line because it starts with a y equals and there's no x in the equation. It will cross the y-axis at the value 4 and has a zero slope. So since this is just y equals some number, we know it is a flat line with a slope of 0 that crosses the y-axis at 4. Easy peasy. Now the only other thing I'm going to ask for you to do today is not only just graph these equations, but be able to look at a graph of the equation and tell me, a graph of the line and tell me the equation. So we're working backwards here. really still super simple. Since we're looking at number 5, the first thing I notice is that this is a flat line. It is horizontal, which makes me think that this is going to be a Hoy equation because it's horizontal. Great. I need to know where it crosses that y-axis. Well, it crosses the y-axis at 2. So since it's Hoy, it's going to start with a y, and it has a y-intercept of 2. Hoy also tells me that this line has a 0 slope. That's it. The equation is y equals 2. It's a flat line at 2, has a 0 slope. If we look at number 6, this is an up and down line, so I know this is going to be a Vux line. That Vux line crosses the x-axis at the value 1, so I know the equation is x equals 1 because it's Vux. This line also has an undefined slope because it's a Vux line. Just as simple as it can be, my friends. You guys have number 7 and 8. Please write the equation of these two lines and tell me what kind of slope they have. Check it out. How'd you do? Since number 7 is a flat line, it is Hoy, going side to side. That's horizontal. It crosses the y-axis at -3. So its equation is y equals -3 with a 0 slope. The other one is a Vux line because it goes straight up and down. It crosses the x-axis at 0. So its equation is x equals 0. Vux also tells me that it has an undefined slope. And that is that, my friends. All we need to be able to do today is talk about the equations of horizontal and vertical lines and tell me about their slopes. But Hoy and Vux contains all the information you're going to need, so pay really close attention to this acronym and you'll be just fine. See you in class.